Alright, so next I'm going to do my eyeshadows, and I'm going to go ahead, and use one of my, this is probably my oldest favorite, the Sunset Glow palette. I also love our new Sugar and Spice palette. This is super pretty too. And I want to do this, I want to do them all at the same time because they're wonderful. I love Nature's Glow. We have a purple palette that's really pretty. We have so many options, but this one, the reason I'm choosing it is it looks really good on a lot of different eye colors. So I figured I would go with this one today because it might be the most beneficial. So when I start with my eyes, I take the lightest color with my finger, and everyone is different with makeup, so some people might not like that I'm using my finger, but it's just what works best for me. So you're doing just up under that arch, not all the way up under here, but you see how I'm doing the arch. And then I have learned through some people to bring that color, and whether you can see it later or not, because I'm going to be layering, who knows, but I extend that color, and sometimes I use my brush for this part, all the way down to the inner part of my eyelid. Now I don't want to go right here with it, you can see I avoided that, but up here, and then bringing that color down into the corner because I have teeny little eyes and we like them to be light. So again, I'm taking that light color, and you can use a brush here too, but I'm just being honest about when I'm in a rush and I'm just trying to get my makeup on my face. Sometimes it's easier to just grab that finger and give it a go, because no one's going to study my makeup and say, oh, that spot's a little rough. So, alright, so I've got that color on. Just make sure you can see it equally on both sides is what I try to do. And again, I can look again at the end. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Then what you're going to do typically is you're going to pick a basic color for your main part of your lid. So I have done both of these before as my middle lid color, my base color. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll probably do this. Yeah, we'll do this one today. It's a little more, I don't know, loud, I guess. Not super loud, but this is a pretty basic palette. But one thing you'll notice, I'm going to go ahead and do this side just the way it is. And I'm doing this across my whole lid. This is just kind of my base. And you'll notice there's a lot of layering. When you do shadows, you'll also notice everyone does it different. For the longest time, I just felt so worried about doing an eyeshadow demo video because I just felt like, am I getting this right? And then I realized, you know what? Doesn't matter because everyone does it differently. And so every video I'd watch, they'd say different stuff. And I was like, well, how am I supposed to get this right for people? And it's an art, so it doesn't have to be perfect. So I'm covering that whole lid. Another trick too is, I'm going to do it right now. I did not do it on that one, but what I like to do, for me, I do not have oily skin, but the one area of my skin where I have oil is weirdly my eyelid. So I just dampened this in a little water cup, and you can apply these wet for a little more staying power. So you're going to notice on this one, it is wet. And I just wanted to kind of show you the difference between that on my eyes and how that's staying there. And you can probably see it. A little bit more. Not a ton, but I feel it more, I think. So that's again just that basic color across the whole lid. I like to do that one everywhere because it's like the bottom layer. Then if there's anything going on funky later, at least it's just got that nice color across the whole lid and underneath it. So I went ahead and did that one too, just because now I have it wet. Okay, so then I use a lot of colors on here, which is good because I bought this palette, I may as well use them all, right? So then I like to use this middle one to just darken my crease a little bit. Now, I have teeny tiny eyes. You might not notice that, but they're a little, like when I smile, they're gone, right? So the crease was a really difficult thing for me to understand because the crease is practically my whole lid, but it is in this blinky area of yours, and most people bring it out around here too. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. But one thing I learned as well for people with super small eyes So again, I'm doing that middle color. It's a little darker and it's got a little shimmer to it. But some people tell you keep your eye kind of open so you know that it can be seen when your eye is open, because the whole point of that darker color is to be seen a little bit. And you can see it. This is definitely darker than this, and that's what we want. So that's what I'm doing. So then I'm gonna do it over here. I'm looking in my mirror right now just because that makes it a little easier on me, but you guys can still see it pretty close. So again, I'm doing just this outside area, but I'm also keeping my eye kind of open so that I can see that crease spot, because we do want it in the crease. Okay, I always used to tell my husband, don't be scared, it looks like a clown now, but I promise at the end it's gonna look good. So tell yourself that if you're not used to it, to just relax. It'll look better at the end when everything's done. Right now it looks a little clowny, okay? So I've got that color. Then for me, this might be different if you have bigger eyes. You might want to use it in more spots. But for me, if I use too much dark, those eyes are going to disappear. So I just take the dark, so that's the darkest one, and I do this slightest little teeny bit of this corner and up just a little on that crease. I'm just making this part a slight bit darker. And you can see it, but I think if you have bigger eyes, you might bring that over even more, but sister over here just doesn't have a lot to work with. So I just keep that dark part over here and keep it doing its business over there on its own. And I'll show you how I blend that a little bit, but you can see. And I'm gonna do that same thing on this side, is just this dark over here in this corner. Remember, the whole point of shadows is to get them blending, because there we go. Okay, that's looking pretty good. I'm liking it. So then I've got the corner done, just the corner. You can see what's going on here. You can also take another brush if you want to just kind of, you know, this, you're just kind of rubbing it and blending it so that it transitions nicely. Some people like stronger lines, some people like it blended more. Again, there aren't really set rules, so that's up to you. Another thing that I did in the beginning when I was really just scared of my eyeshadow was I would take this and blend it a little bit too, but just know if you use this, it's gonna pick up some of that color. So I like a little more dramatic now than I used to, so I like to leave the color, but if you are okay with that, you can always use that on the sides too. Then the most important part for a girl like me with small eyes is this color, and you can see I use it a lot because I use it even without this palette. I use it a lot because I like a little sparkle to open these eyes up. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab my brush, and I was just dipping it and cleaning it in water between colors. And I'm gonna get some of that. And for a lot of people, they just take that with their finger and just do one little dot right in the center. And maybe I should show you that first. Let me do that. So I'm gonna put a little dot on my finger. And some people just do a little dot in the very center and call it good. So you see how I did that? And on this side. And that would be the end of their shadows. Oops, got a little under there. I'll have to clean that up later. But for me, with small eyes, I've seen a bunch of videos where they actually extend this into here and go over, and I like that because you can see it just makes those eyes look a little bit bigger. So I'm going to bring, not a ton, I don't do it super high in that corner, but I do bring it all the way to the corner. And sometimes, honestly, I even bring that color across the lower part of my lid, but we'll leave it like this today. Just kind of a little shimmer effect, fun. And it looks a little not blended in this lighting, but this lighting it looks fine. See, it kind of plays games when you turn different ways, but so you can see that really opens up my eyes a lot. So I'm gonna go ahead and leave this video and leave it with that for now.